Hey guys, what's good? Derek here from Bomb Socks with another day of Bomb Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ one bite at a time. So today we are getting into round 2 of the crazy game of Good King, Bad King that you find from Ether chapter 7 through 11. Yesterday we talked about the dangers of rejecting prophetic counsel and what happens, and today we kind of get to see the consequences of that, interspersed with a few kings that do make some good choices. And you remember yesterday how we talked about the chaotic consequences of just wanting to be like everybody else, and it did not turn out well at all. So let's dig deeper into the stories of some of these Jaredite kings and see what we can learn from them. So to help us navigate these chapters a little bit better, there's a cool chart out there. All you got to do is just Google search Jaredite Kings chart, and you will see this chart right here. And it's created by a bunch of BYU professors that maps out the kings of the Jaredite civilization. And it's cool because it shows the progression from righteousness to wickedness, and then sometimes back again. So what it highlights here is you can see this. There are righteous kings, and these are the guys who led their people in righteousness, and they remember the Lord. And you can see they're marked by these dark bars on the chart. So then you got unrighteous kings, and these are the ones who bring wickedness, pride, destruction, and sadly we see way too many of those. Then you've got captive kings. These are some kings who spend their reign in captivity, often due to rebellions of others and often of their own failures. So this chart is just kind of like a visual representation of what happens when leaders either follow the Lord or reject him. And like I said, just Google search Jaredite Kings chart and you will find it. It's awesome. Okay, so let's dive into some specifics of some of these kings in Ether 7 through 11. And I think these stories add some valuable lessons. Again, there's so many of them, so we're not going to hit all of them, but I want to hit on a few of them today. Okay, so you get into chapter 8. You just got to look at the chapter heading. Strife and contention over the kingdom. Yep, we see that way too much. Achish forms an oath-bound secret combinations to slay the king. Achish is a bad dude. Top 10 easily worst bad guys in the Book of Mormon. Secret combinations are of the devil and result in the destruction of nations, which is so interesting because you see these secret combinations we've already talked about in the Book of Mormon already, leading up to that, especially in the Book of Helaman where it gets rough. You see the Jaredites were playing this game 2,000 years before this as well. You go over to chapter 9, verse number 6, the results of these secret combinations. So great had been the spreading of this wicked and secret society that it had corrupted the hearts of all the people. Therefore, Jared, another king, was murdered upon his throne, and Achish reigned in his stead. We see the same thing going on in the book of Alma and the book of Helaman, and we see it here with the Jaredites also. You know, our world today is not immune to secret combinations. It's still going on today. It went ahead with the Jaredites, with the Nephites, and it goes on with us as well. And it's just a stark reminder to be able to just guard against these things because they happened then, they can happen now, and how important it is to stay close to the Lord and away from pride. Well, you get in chapter 10, we're introduced to a dude by the name of Shez, kind of a cool name, descendant of Heth. Heth had perished by the famine. We'll get into that more tomorrow. And all his household, save it were Shez. Wherefore Shez began to build up again a broken people. That's kind of a cool phrase right here. Here's a guy gathering together a group of broken people, and his goal is to build up a righteous kingdom and success. Verse number 2, Shez did remember the destruction of his fathers. He did build up a righteous kingdom, for he remembered what the Lord had done. That's a cool phrase there. And this guy Shez is a perfect example of turning adversity into faith and humility and strength and leading a group of people to righteousness. Now, you go down into this chapter a little bit, verses 9 through 11, we're introduced to a guy by the name of Morianton. Now, Morianton, he being a descendant of Riplakash, who was a bad dude before that, overthrown in a major rebellion, gathered together an army of outcasts. There's a cool group of people, right? Went forth, gave battle unto the people. He gained power over many cities, and the war became exceedingly sore, did last for the space of many years, did gain power over all the land, and did establish himself king over all the land. And after that he had established himself king, he did ease the burden of the people, by which he did gain favor in the eyes of the people, and they did anoint him to be their king. Now, here's the problem. Verse number 11, he did do justice unto the people, but not unto himself because of his many whoredoms, wherefore he was cut off from the presence of the Lord. So the guy sounds like he was a good king, but his personal life was in shambles, which did ultimately cut him off from the Lord. Just a powerful reminder that private righteousness is as important as public leadership. It's super cool. Now, you go over to chapter 11. This is kind of funny, actually. Verse 14. It came to pass that Etham did execute judgment in wickedness all his days. Ugh. And he begat Moron. And it came to pass that Moron, this great King Moron, did reign in his stead, and Moron did that which was wicked before the Lord. Simple lesson. Don't be a moron. Now, one of the overarching lessons, I think, in all of these chapters is one of the things these people did not understand. This is the big lesson of good king, bad king, is these people already had a king. The Lord himself is their king. Doctrine and Covenants, section 45, verse 59 says, "The Lord shall be in their midst, and his glory shall be upon them. He will be their king and their lawgiver." The righteous kings in these stories often acknowledge Jesus Christ. They remembered the captivity of their fathers. They remembered all the good things that the Lord had done for them, and that's what makes them righteous. And the bad kings forgot all the good things that the Lord has done, and they just focused on their own selfish desires. Those good kings acknowledge that Jesus Christ is the King of Kings. So overall, this gave a good king, bad king two major lessons. Number one, you follow prophetic counsel. That's what the brother of Jared warned, that choosing a king would lead to captivity, but the people didn't listen. We got to ask ourselves, we're paying attention to the warnings from our prophets today. The second one is you got to remember who the true king is. You let Jesus Christ be the king of your life, you will find peace and direction, even amid all chaos. I love the reminder that Jesus Christ is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And the righteous leaders of the Jaredites drew strength from him. The wicked ones ignored him. So I think there's some great lessons in these chapters. Now, tomorrow we'll focus on one more little principle that I think is valuable for you and I today. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and thanks for sharing these messages. As always, so grateful that you do that. If you like what you see, please click the like button. It gets that message out there. And you got to go check out our amazingly comfortable gospel theme socks at bombsocks.com. Godspeed, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.